The children had their first ride on the magic carpet on Saturday, so the next day was Sunday. Sunday at 18 Camden Terrace was always a happy day. Father brought flowers on Saturday, so the breakfast table looked nice. After dinner, Father felt sleepy, but he did not sleep. The baby, the lamb, had a bad cough. The cook said it was whooping cough. Father said, "Come, children, I got a great book from the library. I will read to you." Mother lay on the sofa and closed her eyes. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door. The cook said, "Please, ma'am, can I talk to you?" Mother looked tired. She got up and went to the hall. The children looked through the open door. The cook looked angry and her face was red. She said, "I want to leave in 1 month." Mother was very surprised. She looked pale. She was always kind to the cook and gave her a holiday the day before. "Why do you want to leave?" Mother asked. "It's the children," said the cook. Their new carpet had thick yellow mud, both sides. "I had to clean it on Sunday." "I don't want to stay if this happens again," Mother said. "I'm sorry. I will talk to the children. You can think about it and tell me tomorrow." The next day, Mother talked to the cook again. The cook said she might stay longer to see what happens. But Father and Mother talked about the dirty carpet. Jane told the truth. She said the mud came from a tower with treasure, but Father did not believe her. He thought it was silly, so the children said, "We are sorry. We won't do it again." Father said, "Children who put mud on both sides of a carpet and say silly things are not ready for a carpet. You can't use it for a week." They cleaned the carpet with tea leaves. This made Anthea a little happy. Then they folded the carpet and put it in a cupboard. Father kept the key in his pocket. "Until Saturday," he said. "Never mind," said Anthea. "We still have the phoenix." But they didn't. The phoenix was gone. Everything was normal again. There was no carpet, just wooden floor in the middle and old brown linoleum around the edges. It was easy to see black beetles at night. The children still didn't like them. Sunday ended sadly. The next day, the baby's cough got worse. The doctor came in his carriage. Everyone felt sad. The children looked everywhere for the phoenix. "It is a bird of its word," said Anthea. "Maybe it's just tired. It flew far. I think it will come back." The others tried to believe it too, but it was not easy. They were also angry with the cook. Because of her, the magic carpet was locked away. "She could have told us," said Jane. "Panther and I would clean it with tea leaves." "She is very angry," said Robert. All the children, even Anthea, wished the cook had never been born. Here's what happened that week. Sunday, mud on both sides of the carpet. Monday, Anthea boiled licorice and aniseed for the baby's cough. She forgot it, and the little pot burned. Tuesday, a dead mouse was in the pantry. Robert buried it with the fish slice. The fish slice broke. He said the cook should not keep dead mice in the pantry. Wednesday, sweat was on the table. Robert mixed it with soap. He thought it was soap. Thursday, Robert fell in a bandit game and broke the kitchen window. Friday, Robert filled the sink with water for paper boats. He blocked the drain. The tap was open. The rug and the cook's shoes got wet and ruined. On Saturday, they got the magic carpet back. They had talked all week about where to go. Mother went to visit Granny. The baby stayed home because of the cough. "We will go to a place with no whooping cough." They dressed the baby. He laughed and coughed. The boys moved the chairs and table off the carpet. Jane held the baby. Anthea looked for the phoenix. "No use waiting," she said, "but I know it did not leave us." The children got down and looked. There was the phoenix. It sat on a wooden bar under the table. That bar held a drawer before, but it broke when Robert stood in it and played boat. I was here all the time, said the Phoenix. Is, if you wanted me. It's too long, said Jane. Come on, old Phoenix, said Robert, holding his hand out. Good old beautiful Phoenix, said the bird shyly. It flew onto Robert's arm. That boy, said the Phoenix, said the whole poem in one sentence. We must come back before dinner, said Cyril, or the cook will tell on us. She hasn't yet, said Anthea. Robert started to talk when the cook came in. She was very angry. She had a broken bowl in one hand and shook her other hand. Look here, she shouted. My only pudding bowl is broken. What can I use for the steak and kidney pudding? I'm very sorry, cook, said Anthea kindly. It was my fault. We broke it when we melted lead to tell our fortunes. I was quiet all week, the cook said. Your mother said we must be patient with children, but now I can't be quiet. The soap in the pudding, the saucepan, the fish slice, and now this. But she stopped. They were going to take him somewhere, but not on the street like the cook thought. This made honest Anthea feel confused. Out, said the cook. Anthea and Robert held her skirt and apron to stop her. Go make your pudding in a bowl or a flower pot, said Cyril, very serious. No, said the cook. I won't let you take this poor baby out to get sick. I tell you, said Cyril. You don't know what can happen. Tell yourself, said the cook. She held the lamb. She held the lamb. Then she looked at the Phoenix and shouted, What is that yellow bird? Even Anthea knew there was danger. I wish, she said fast, we were on a hot sunny beach, with no whooping cough. The lamb was crying. The cook was shouting. At once the magic carpet turned and flew up. It felt like going down in a lift. The cook fell on the carpet. The carpet stopped. The cook opened her eyes, screamed, and closed them again. Anthea took the lamb from her. It's okay, said Anthea. Panther is here. Look at the trees, the sand, the sea turtles. The magic carpet brought them to a hot beach. There were green hills, palm trees, flowers, and yellow sand. The sea was blue. 3 big turtles walked into the sea. They took off their warm clothes. Anthea took off the lamb's clothes. He only had on his white shirt. It's hotter than summer at the sea, said Anthea. Mother lets us go barefoot then. The lamb took off his shoes and socks. He put his toes in the hot sand. I'm a little white duck, he said. Then he ran and jumped in a small water pool. Let him play, said Anthea. He'll be okay. The cook opened her eyes again and screamed. Then she looked and said, This must be a dream. They always say that in dreams, said the cook. I tell you, it's real, said Robert. I won't say how. It's a secret, but we had to bring you. But even in a dream, you kids are big trouble. Please calm down, good woman, said the Phoenix. Good woman, you are a talking yellow bird, said the cook. I know about dream birds, but I never had one. Enjoy the dream, said Cyril. It's a good day. Let's hide the carpet, said Cyril. The lamb can play and get better. If there are bad people, we take the cook home. She is not kind, said Cyril. Let's leave the carpet with her, said Anthea. She will think it was a dream. They put their coats and hats on the carpet. Cyril held the happy lamb. The Phoenix sat on Robert's arm. They walked into the trees. The grass was soft, but the forest had vines and flowers. It was hard to walk. We need a tool to cut plants, said Robert. I will ask Dad for one at Christmas. There were flowers with sweet smell. Bright birds flew around. Tell me, said the Phoenix, are any birds here more pretty than me? Don't worry, I'm not proud. None are better than you, said Robert. I'm not proud, said the Phoenix, but you are right. I will fly now. The Phoenix flew in a circle and came back. It's better to go left, it said. The children walked through the trees. The girls picked flowers. The lamb said, I am a little white duck. He did not cough. The path turned left and right. Then they saw a flat place with many small houses. The houses were for copper-colored people. The children were scared. Maybe they eat people, said Jane. Look, a goat is tied up, said Cyril. They don't eat people. Let's say we are church helpers, said Robert. No, said the Phoenix. That is not true. A tall man came out of a house. His skin was dark and shiny, like flowers. He had a spear. He shouted in a strange voice. More copper-colored people came. They stood around the space. The children ran away fast. Anthea let Cyril go first. He carried the lamb, who laughed and was happy. They ran to the beach. They heard the people behind them. The sand was gold and bright. There were shells and turtles. But the cook clothes and carpet were gone. Run into the sea, said Cyril. The children ran into the warm water. It felt nice. They looked back and saw the cook's head in the water. She said, The carpet is under me. I wished for a cold bath, and here I am. Everyone was glad. The carpet took her to the sea, not the cold bath at home. The Phoenix said softly, The copper-colored people want your cook. Do they want to eat her? Asked Jane, afraid. No, said the Phoenix. They want her to cook food for them. How do you know what they say? Asked Cyril. I know all languages, said the Phoenix. The children pulled the carpet out of the water and put it on the sand. The cook sat on it. The copper-colored people bowed to the carpet. The tallest man said he wanted to keep the cook forever. She does not need a character, said Anthea. They don't want her as a cook. They want her to be their queen, said the Phoenix. Queens do not need characters. Everyone was very surprised. A queen? Said Cyril. There is an old story. It says a white queen will come from the sea. She will wear a white crown. He pointed to the cook's hat. It is white enough for them, he said. Cyril spoke to the cook. Do you want to stay here and be their queen? Or do you want to come back with us? If you promise to be kinder at home and not talk about today, we can take you back. No, thank you, said the cook. I always wanted to be a queen. I do not want to go back to that cold kitchen, said the Phoenix. Tea! Queens have soft, nice lives. You hear that, said Cyril. Be a good queen. Goodbye. Some people came with flower necklaces and gave them to the cook. All these flowers are for me, she said. What a nice dream. She sat up tall on the carpet. The people danced and sang. Bravo, she shouted. This is better than the music hall. Then the people asked her to come to their village. The best house is for you, our queen. They said, Goodbye, said the cook. I am going to my palace now. I hope this dream never ends. She walked away with the flower necklaces. The children watched her go. Well, said Cyril, she is happy, but they think we are just dream children. Yes, said the Phoenix. That is what the story said. A white queen and white dream children. What about dinner? Asked Robert. There is no cook now, said Anthea. We will have bread and butter. Let's go home, said Cyril. They dressed the lamb again and sat on the carpet. Anthea said, Home. The carpet flew back and landed in the nursery. Just then, Eliza came in. Cook is gone, she said. There is no dinner. She did not take her things. Maybe she had an accident. I will ask the police. But nobody ever saw the cook again. Only the children knew what really happened. Anthea felt sad. She wanted to tell her mother. But the Phoenix went to sleep and said, Mother and Father said the doctor's medicine was very good. But the children knew It was the warm southern beach that made him better. The lamb talked about the colored sand and sea, but no one believed him. He often talked about strange things. On Monday morning, very early, Anthea woke up. She made a plan. She went downstairs in her nightgown. It was cold, and sat on the carpet. She said, with her heart beating fast. The sand was warm. She could feel it through the carpet. She folded the carpet and put it on her shoulders like a shawl. She did not want to lose it. Then she walked up the forest path, saying to herself, "It is my duty. I must do this." When the cook saw her, she said, "Oh, here you are again." This dream goes on and on. The cook wore a long white dress. She had no shoes, no socks, and no hat. She was sitting under palm leaves because it was hot. She had flowers in her hair, and brown boys were fanning her with peacock feathers. "They took my hat," she said. "They like it very much. I think they have never seen one before." "Are you happy?" Anthea asked. "Of course," said the cook. "I have nothing to do unless I want to. I will clean my house tomorrow and teach them to cook. They burn everything now or eat it raw. Can you talk to them?" "Oh, yes," said the cook. "It is easy to learn." "No, dear. If you stay and talk, I might wake up and hear that bell again." She was happy now, wrapped in the carpet. "She is all right," said Anthea, and went back to bed. "I am glad someone is happy. But mother will never believe me if I tell her. It is true, the story is hard to believe. But maybe you can try telling it."